Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. My name is Carlo. You can call me Sir CK and this is Mao Classroom. So last time we talked about matter and its properties and how we describe matter. We also differentiate matters as pure substance or substance and also as a mixture. So today we will be discussing about how are we going to separate mixture. So like we said before, 'di ba, ang mixture is a combination of two or more substances or pure substances. Like for example, minix mo yung sugar and coffee. I love coffee actually. Kaya yung lagi kong example. Sugar and coffee. So sugar is one substance and then coffee is another substance. So when you mix them together, it's a mixture. So we differentiate mixture as homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture, wherein homogeneous, nakikita mo with your naked eye na minix mo yung dalawang substance. Like for example, in coffee and sugar. Pag di mo pa siya nilalagyan ng water, di ba pag pinagsama mo yung sugar and yung coffee grains, makikita mo, malalaman mo na, oh, ayan, may dalawang substance doon. So that's a heterogeneous mixture. Pero pag nilagyan mo na siya ng water and it dissolved sa water yung sugar and yung coffee, hindi mo na ma-distinguish yung coffee from the sugar. So that is already a homogeneous mixture. Okay, so today we will be discussing about how to separate mixture, especially either heterogeneous mixture or homogeneous mixture. All right, so let's discuss. So again, we will be discussing separating mixture. All right, so there are tons of way on how to separate mixture. So we will be discussing some of them very briefly para naman hindi masyadong boring kasi pag sobrang tagal na medyo boring na yon. So, what are the different ways in separating mixture? So, we have here, okay, magnetism, decantation, evaporation, sublimation, filtration. We Sorry, hindi nyo nakikita, no? Kasi nakaharang yung mukha ko dyan. So, tanggalin ko muna. Ayan. Okay. Centrifugation. Again, magnetism, decantation, evaporation, sublimation, filtration, centrifugation, extraction, distillation, crystallization, absorption, and one type of absorption is chromatography. So, lahat yan. These are the different ways. Nako, diba? Napakalalim ng mga terms. Pero very simple. Most of them are very, very simple ways in separating mixture. Let's start with magnetism. So, magnetism, like it says, magnet. So, you use a magnet to separate magnetic substance from non-magnetic substance. Alright? So, anong yun? Gagamit ka ng magnet para i-separate mo yung non-magnetic substance from a magnetic substance. So, ano ba? For example, meron kang iron filings or fillings, ano bang tawag doon? Kung ano man tawag doon, iron filings, so mix siya with sand. So, mahirap siyang i-separate, di ba? Kaya lang, isa-isahin mo yung grain or kukunin mo isa-isa um, yung, yung iron filings from the sand. So, since iron filings is a magnetic substance, you can just use a magnet, di ba? Kagamit ka ng magnet, tapos, mahihiwalay na yung mga iron filings from the sand kasi sand is a non-magnetic substance. May lumalabas ng mga notification. Okay, so very very simple yun lang. So masa-separate mo na yung mixture pag yung dalawang bagay is one is magnetic and the other one is non-magnetic. So very very simple way. Next one, we have decantation. Ito ang pinaka-simple sa lahat. I think we don't need anything. Decantation, it's simply to pour off upper liquid layer used to separate a liquid from an insoluble solid. So, another thing, ito na naman tayo. may mixture ka ng water and sand. Yan, okay? So, di ba mahirap naman kung isa-isahin mo yung sand out of the water. So, ang gagawin mo na lang, ipo-pour out mo yung water from the sand. So, at least, kahit pa paano, na-separate mo na yung water from the sand. It's not about sand, basta yung mga insoluble things from a liquid substance na nakamix dun sa insoluble solid. When you say insoluble, hindi siya natutunaw dun sa liquid kung saan siya naka-mix. Very simple. So, pour out mo lang siya. Next, we have, parang ano lang no? Evaporation. So, evaporation, ito. So, evaporation, another simple way of separating mixture. We have evaporation is to dryness is used to separate a dissolved solid from a liquid. Ito yung madalas ginagamit, 'di ba? Kung yung para makakuha ka ng salt, yung table salt mo from galing sa table salt pa yun o basta salt content from the sea. May mga ganyan eh. So, ang ginagawa nila, binibilad lang nila yung sea water and then they let the water evaporated para makuha nila yung salt. Kasi nga yung salt doesn't evaporate. Hindi siya nag-evaporate in a specific temperature. So, kung ano lang naman yan, kung sun lang naman yung mismo of high temperature mo, hindi mas madali mo na siyang masa-separate, 'di ba? So i-dry mo lang yung water, yung liquid content niya para ma-separate mo yung solid na naka-dissolve doon sa water. So mas hindi pinagkaiba nila ng ano kasi ng decantation. Decantation insoluble yung ano, 'di ba? Yung insoluble, hindi natutunaw yung solid particles mo doon sa water or doon sa liquid. Kaya napo-pour out mo na lang yung liquid. Pero this time kasi yung solid mo or yung solid mo is soluble doon sa water or doon sa may liquid mo. So, ita-dry mo lang yung water, which is tataas yan, mag-evaporate, magiging gaseous phase siya. So, may iwan na lang yung solid substance. Diba? So, very, very simple lang din. So, before we continue, again, please do not forget to like, share, and hit that notification bell para updated kayo sa mga topics natin. And then also, you can comment dun sa comments natin, comment section para I'll try my best to answer all your questions, okay? And then some suggestions na rin kung gusto nyo mag-suggest. And also, of course, subscribe na kayo para makatulong din kayo sa channel natin. Alright, so let's move on. Okay, so another type of separating mixture is sublimation. So sublimation, let's read the definition first. It's the process whereby the substance changes from the solid that sublimes upon heating from another substance with a high melting point. So ano to? Ano ba ang sublimation muna? So para in a layman's term, pag sinabi mo kasing evaporation, it's from liquid to gas. Tama? Like for example, pag pinakuluan mo yung water, tapos naging water vapor siya, so that is evaporation. Whereas, sublimation naman is actually from solid directly to gas. Gaseous phase siya. So, napaka-limited lang ng uses ng process ng sublimation because napaka-onte ng mga substances that actually sublimes on heating. One example na ito, yung mga dry ice, salt, iodine, mga ganyan. So, one famous experiment na ginagawa namin to show sublimation is yung paggamit ng naphthalene. Yung naphthalene, ito yung mga nilalagay sa naphthalene balls, yung pangtaboy ng rats, ng roaches sa cabinet nyo, yung mga bilog, that is naphthalene ball. So, of course, pag minix mo naman yung ball itself sa sand, madali naman tanggalin mo lang yung ball. Pero what if kinrush mo yung naphthalene ball? So, and then magiging small grains na siya, and then mix with sand. So, medyo mahirap na siyang tanggalin because unang-una, you cannot use You cannot use magnetism kasi both of them are non-magnetic. Hindi mo rin pwedeng haluan siya ng water para ma-dissolve siya yung isang substance sa kanila kasi both of them are non-soluble sa water. So hindi mo magagamitan yun ng ganon para mahiwalay. So this is one way of separating, for example, a substance with a high melting point dun sa mga substance na meron na maliit naman or mababa ang melting point nila, such as yung naphthalene. So, how does it work? So, ang mangyayari dito, may isang experiment na, for example, nilagyan mo ng mixture, naglagay ka ng sand and naphthalene, crushed naphthalene mixture, and then, ilalagay mo siya sa evaporating dish, and then maglalagay ka ng inverted funnel sa ibabaw niya. Of course, may may tawag dito, inverted funnel. Tapos, papainitan mo siya. And then, of course, since yung naphthalene has a very low melting point, nagsasablime agad siya into gas. So, paano mo siya makokolekta? Dun sa yung funnel is dadampman mo ng cold tissue or something para lumamig lang siya at magsusolidify na siya agad. Magiging crystal siya dun sa pinaka funnel. So, yun, nahiwalay mo na ngayon yung naphthalene mo dun sa pinakasan mo. Pero nagbago lang yung structure ng naphthalene, naging crystals na siya, hindi na siya grains. Pero at least na separate mo na rin siya. Alright? Alright, so let's move on to nagbago yung nagbago yung animation. Filtration. So, of course, I think you know what filtration is. Kahit di ka pa nag-aaral, siguro alam mo na-experience mo na ang filtration. Yung pa lang, yung bata ako, naalala ko, dun sa may, namin, what's this? Sa probinsya namin, kasi meron kami dun bomba. So, nilalagyan yun ng parang tela dun sa bomba kasi may mga impurities yun, di ba? Yung water mo, kasi galing siya sa deep well, ganyan, or yun, malalim siya. So, most probably may masasama at may masasama dun ng mga particles and impurities. So, para ma-separate mo siya, gumagamit sila ng ganon, nung parang tela sa pinaka-poso para ma-separate yung mixture. That's an example of filtration. So, let's see the meaning here. It's used to separate heterogeneous mixture composed of solid and liquid. Yun nga, para ma-separate mo yung gagamit ka ng mga filter. Mga filters, yan. Sa example ko, ang filter doon yung tela. So, para ma-separate mo yung liquid dun sa solid. Very, very easy na yan. Alam na alam nyo na yan. Okay, so centrifugation is used to separate solid from liquid or separate two immiscible liquid on the basis of density. So, ang pinaka factor that will separate the mixture is density naman. It involves the use of centrifugal force, and then more dense component migrate away and solid particles remain at the bottom. So, okay. So, ano nga ba ang centrifugal force dito? So, ang mangyayari dito, ang centrifugal force is a-apply mo yung mabilis na pag-ikot ng substance mo. So, gagamit ka ng machine dito. So, more dense component migrate away and solid particles remain at the bottom. So, it doesn't mean na solid tsaka liquid lang to pwede rin naman tong dalawang liquid na magkaiba ang density nila. So, yung less dense, of course, is mas tataas, yung mga more dense, ay mas bababa. So, mas maganda to sa pag nakamix ka ng solid particles na hindi mo na magamitan ng filtration. So, centrifugal force na ang gagamitin mo kasi yung solid particles is magi-stay sa bottom nila. So, pwede mo na lang siyang i-pour out using decantation naman. Okay? So, let's move on. So, we have extraction. So, extraction, when you say medyo mahaba rin to to separate a desired substance from a reaction mixture or another resource. Okay, anong ibig sabihin noon? So, um, dito sa extraction natin, sa extraction, gagamit ka ng isang substance para ma-separate mo yung isang mixture. So let's talk about liquid to liquid extraction. So when you say liquid to liquid extraction, gagamit ka ng dalawang liquid na immiscible. Ibig sabihin hindi sila nagme-mix. For example, water and oil, 'di ba? So sa liquid and liquid extraction kasi, for example, meron kang isang bagay or isang mixture at gusto mo lang makuha yung part ng mixture na yon, which is soluble sa water at hindi siya soluble sa oil, or the other way around. Yung substance mo is soluble sa oil pero hindi siya soluble sa water. So, mangyayari doon is magmi-mix ngayon or magmi-mix yung substance na yon dun sa either sa water or dun sa oil mo, at masa-separate mo na siya. Paano yung mixture kasi na yon? Dapat kung meron kang isang mixture, yung isang mixture mo, kung for example, yung dalawang substance is composed of something that is soluble sa water, and the other one, that substance should not be soluble in oil. Yun lang gusto mong makuha. So, gagamit ka ng liquid to liquid extraction para makuha mo yung specific substance na yun which is soluble in either water or oil. Alright? So, usually, pag sa liquid and liquid extraction, gagamit ka ng separating funnel para ma-separate mo nga yung substance na nakamix doon sa may water. Of course, yun yung gusto mong desired. So, you pour out yung oil. So, makukuha mo na ngayon yung gusto mong um, substance. So, in liquid to solid extraction naman, meron tayong gagamit ka ng solvent dito, either hydrophilic or hydrophobic or acidic or neutral or basic. Tapos sa-add mo to sa solid substance mo, forming a slurry. For example, meron kang isang solid substance, tapos yung solid substance mo yun is a mixture, and then part of that mixture lang yung gusto mong makuha, hindi naman talaga yung buong solid na yon. So, kung ano yung bagay na gusto mong makuha dun sa mixture na yon, ngayon kukuha ka ng isang solvent na magre-react dun sa solid substance mo para makuha mo yung specific substance na gusto mong makuha from that solid substance. Alright? So, yun, if you want to know more about liquid to solid extraction naman, comment lang kayo below and I'll give more example of that. So, let's move on to distillation. So, distillation, may mga naririnig kayong mga distilled water, mga ganyan. So, this is used to separate homogeneous mixture. So, sobrang hindi mo makita yung, when you say homogeneous mixture, para na siyang nag-act as one substance. Ang pinagkaiba nito sa ibang ways of separating mixture, this is based naman in difference in boiling point of the substance. So there are two types of distillation. We have simple distillation. So it separates a mixture of a soluble substance and a solvent. For example, water, yung kanina rin, para rin tong evaporation, almost the same as evaporation. Pero gagamit ka ng mga kasi dito pag sa evaporation, you just let the water evaporate. Dito paano pag gusto mo makuha yung water without the salt, 'di ba? So, you use distillation process. So, yun, mag-evaporate yung water kasi mas mataas, mas mababa ang boiling point nyon compare sa salt. So, mahihiwalay mo na ngayon yung salt and water. So, makukuha mo ulit yung water sa distillation process. When you say fractional distillation naman, this is the technique used to separate mixture of two or more miscible liquid with different boiling points. For example nga, minix mo ang water, 'di ba? Meron tayong nakikita na 70% alcohol, ganyan. So, 70% nyon is alcohol and the other one, the 30% is of course water. So, you want to separate it. So, gagamit ka ngayon ng fractional distillation. So, dito, since nga mas mataas mas mababa ang boiling point ng alcohol nyo, for example, ethanol, ganyan, 78 degrees lang siya. So, ang water is 100 degrees Celsius. So, pwede mo silang paghiwalayin at makuha mo yung pure alcohol lang from that solution. Alright? So, let's move on. Another type of separation technique is crystallization. So, let's read the definition. Crystallization is a separation technique that results in the formation of pure solid particles from a solution containing the dissolved substance. So, paano ba to? Yung habang yung isang, for example, you have a mixture of salt and water, ganyan, and then you let one substance evaporate. For example, yung water, yun naman na nag-evaporate. So, yung mga substance na dissolved dun sa water mo, in this example, yung salt, will come out of the solution and collect as crystal. So, magiging crystal siya. Alright, it produces highly pure solid. Example, yung rocky candy, yung salt, pag minix mo siya pag naka-dissolve siya sa water, so pag nag-evaporate lahat ng water, it will produce salt crystals. That is crystallization. So next, we have absorption. Absorption removes a soluble impurity from a feed stream by trapping it on a surface of a solid material. One example para maintindihan nyo is chromatography. So, one example of absorption is chromatography. So, ano ba ang chromatography? Yan, basahin muna natin ang meaning niya. Separates components of a mixture based on the ability of each component to be drawn across the surface of another material. Mixture is usually liquid and is usually drawn across chromatography paper, and separation occurs because various components travel at a different rate. Components with the strongest attraction for the paper travel the slowest. So, paano nangyayari ang chromatography? Sana gawin nyo rin to guys sa mga experiment nyo. So, meron kang chromatographic paper. Ang usually ginagamit namin dito is kahit ano yung dye or ink, ganyan. So, since nga, tapos gagamit ka ng solvent para mag-travel, kasi habang umaakyat ang solvent mo, for example, alcohol, is kung yung substance dun sa mixture mo is sobrang makapit dun sa paper or sa chromatographic paper mo, ang mangyayari is mas mabagal yung pag-angat niya dun sa paper. So, mas naiiwan or mas mabagal umakyat or mag-travel yung mas attracted dun sa paper. Okay? So, yung mga less attracted dun sa paper, so sasabay lang sila dun sa pag-akyat ng solvent mo. So, masa-separate mo na ngayon yung different components nung liquid mo. Napakasimple lang, di ba? Sana simple lang talaga siya. Okay, so yun lang tayo mga guys. So, ano pa ba? Okay, that's it. Okay guys, so done na tayo with the first chapter of our lesson. So, guys, nagsisimula pa lang tayo, nasa introduction pa lang tayo ng chemistry, and I know we will get better sa mga next videos natin, ganyan. So we discuss about matter and how to separate matters and everything like that, and different ways to separate mixture. Nasa ano pa lang tayo, beginning pa lang tayo, guys. So, next time, we will talk more about our next topic, which is measurement. Ito, very, very important to sa chemistry. And you know how to measure. Lahat naman, importante ang measurement, sa ang measurement. So, pero we will talk more about measurement on our next topic, most probably next week. I'll try to finish everything, yung mga materials natin. By next week, and na-upload na natin yon. Every week, I'll try to upload per chapter para matapos na natin agad tong lessons natin and we can move on to a deeper topics na pwede nating ma-discuss. So again, guys, please do not forget to like and subscribe to this channel para updated kayo sa mga topics natin. And then pag may mga question kayo, please hit the comment section lang. Mag-comment kayo doon kung anong mga gusto nyong makitang topic and then also kung ano yung mga ways para ma-improve natin tong lessons natin. Okay guys, see you sa next video natin. Okay, so always remember, chemistry is fun. Huwag kayong masyadong magpaka-stress. And thank you. Thank you guys for watching. Bye-bye.